Hey everybody, this is Chris. I'm really excited to share with you my next edition of my Hot Air from the Dragon Chair Maker Interview Series. This episode features the great Izzy Swan in Greenville, South Carolina. There's a ton of great footage here, including a full shop tour which will take you to about the 10th minute of the video, and the remainder will be an in-depth interview with Izzy, including a look at his new app.
Of the two, so we have people that have already jumped in, just thousands of people have already jumped on board.
Let's start with the shop tour. Please be sure to subscribe to me on YouTube and follow me on Instagram at @ShopWithChris so you don't miss out on any of my future interviews or projects. Thank you. Let's first look over here. There's a computer area.
Yep, this is kind
slab
of
there.
The temporary office for now.
Why do you say it's temporary?
Because this will eventually be a spray room, and I'll build an office outside in a shed probably.
Okay, what's the story behind that guitar right there?
I bought it at a pawn shop for $120 about 6 years ago because it has an amazing sound, and I just keep it.
You play guitar?
Oh yeah, I've been playing for 20 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Does everyone know that?
I don't think so. I know a few people do.
I think we may have to have a little show from you. What's your interest in hydroponics?
I love growing things.
Okay.
I actually don't like vegetables. I don't eat any vegetables, but I like to grow them.
Okay.
So
who eats them?
Danielle, the kids, friends, and I do eat salsa, but salsa's not really a vegetable.
Well, it is. It's all tomato.
Yeah. So this is the chaos.
Okay, that's how everybody's got one of these. Every maker has one. Okay, let's head into the shop. Now Izzy's already moved his bench out of the way, so we're going to set up the chair.
This is a torsion bench, so this has a torsion frame under it. And a lot of guys have seen the Ron Paulk style benches. It's just that kind of structure underneath. So I have storage under there.
And here's your
That's the Andy Klein vise, baby.
Andy Klein vise. How does that work?
So it's dual speed. It's called the twin turbo vise. When it's engaged, when it's pushed in and engaged, it's in high speed. When it's pulled out, it goes in low speed. And obviously you have more torque in low speed than you would in high speed. So,
All right.
yeah, that's pretty awesome.
All right, so we got the famous tool wall.
Oh yeah, gotta have the tool wall.
Very well organized. Then all your storage.
Yep, some photo projects I'm working on.
All right.
Big screen TV for watching YouTube videos.
That's all right. And you got your sanding
Sanding station
set up over here.
Yep, all the sanding stuff goes there. Well, I still use the palm sander and stuff over at the bench, but that's where we do the majority of the rough sanding there.
Okay.
And then behind you is my bandsaw, probably the love of my life.
Love the bandsaw.
That's a 3 horsepower, 14-inch bandsaw.
Wow.
With a 16-inch resaw capacity. So it does amazing things to wood.
Now, tell me the story behind this.
When we did the space, the maker space up in Michigan, a bunch of people from my group, Toolmasters, came up and built it out. And Gary, one of the guys that came up, brought that with him.
That's great.
Brought it up. Yeah, it was really nice of him.
All right.
I have a picture of that whole crew that I'm supposed to put in there. It's still sitting on the computer. I haven't got it printed yet.
That's all right. That's all right. All right, so the back half of the shop.
Yep.
The drill press.
That's a DVR drill press. Do you know what that means?
No.
Okay, so the DVR drill press is basically, it's a smart motor. It'll, like if you're putting torque on it, a lot of torque, like really pressing down on it, the motor will know it's doing that and add more oomph to it. So it never slows down.
I see.
It always keeps a consistent speed.
Okay.
And then that one you can do all kinds of things with. You can program it to make coffee. You can, this tapping, like it'll tap threads, go down and come back out, go down and come back out,
Okay.
It's a really nice drill press. And this is actually, Mike at Klingsport talked me into this. I was just going for like a benchtop drill press. He goes, Izzy, you gotta try this. And I tell you what, I'm so glad he did. It's amazing. Yeah.
All right, so we got some scrap wood here.
Yep.
Got your table saw.
Yeah.
And then this is your pride and joy back here, right? The CNC.
Yeah. Yeah, this thing has been having the Avid, Pro CNC changed their name to Avid CNC recently. CNC Router Parts changed their name to Avid CNC here about 6 months ago. But that is the 4x8 version, Pro Series. It's a 2.5K spindle. It's been a godsend since my back, since I hurt my, being on a chair and walker. It's been great to have. So, and on top of that, it's just a great machine. So I've been using and abusing it like crazy.
Okay, Mary, just hold this. I want to show them this this pipe or this.
Oh, the clamp wall?
Yeah. All right, so this is what you showed me before, Izzy. This is the clamp wall.
Yep.
So you pull back on this.
Yep.
And then you can slide these out like that.
Yeah, so I can glue up a full 9 foot by 4.5 foot wide top on that, but it doesn't take up much space. I don't have to kill my bench while I'm gluing up a top, so I can actually lay the material here, stick it on there, and then glue it up and stack it all right there in one spot. And then when I'm done, I just fold it out of the way.
Fold that up again, because you couldn't, from that angle, I couldn't see it.
And now you just fold that back, and it doesn't take up any extra space. So.
Yeah. And then I can have some shelf space behind it, so I'm not, more shelf space. Eventually we'll probably put another shelf below it, but one thing at a time. So.
And what are you working on here?
I am working on an idea for a hand crank, self-loading, self-unloading printing press, for desktop to do like 3x5 cards.
Wow.
So.
Automated printing press. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, with Jimmy Dresta and everybody doing all that printing press stuff, I saw that I wanted to get into it. I actually bought a bunch of stuff for it, but I saw the old school, one at a time desktop ones.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not going to do. So I designed one that would load the cards on it, print, and then unload them, so you could just sit there and crank it and just pump out a whole bunch of them.
Wow.
So yeah, this is the first first prototype. This is actually the stamping mechanism portion of it. So I'm going to put that together and test it, and then we'll build the mechanisms for loading and unloading, and then we'll do the whole thing and make a video about it.
I can't wait to see that.
It should be fun. It should be fun.
And then back here.
Is a robot that I'm building. This is going to be, I'm promoting the Klingstor extravaganza this year, and I promised to build a robot for it. And if you actually want to get down on your knees and pull the trigger on that drill down there, pull that top off there first, that loose leg, and we're going to move it out just a little bit. Okay.
Is something gonna?
You'll be okay. Just don't put your hands on anything.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Just pull it. Yeah, just pull it.
That's awesome.
That is amazing.
Let's do that again. Hold on. That's terrific.
Careful, careful.
Yeah. So I was working on that gung ho about 6-8 weeks ago, and then I had a little accident, and I've been slowly learning to get around the shop again with a walker and chair, and that we'll be back on that shortly.
Okay.
So we'll have 6 legs. It's multi-directional, so whichever way you point the head, it'll walk that direction. So we're going to actually give that away at the Klingstor event. So.
Okay, tell us more about this Klingstor event.
It's the Klingstor extravaganza in Hickory, North Carolina.
Okay.
So they do it every year. It's like, think about one of the woodworking shows. So that's basically what it is. It's a giant woodworking show. But it's Klingstor, so they get all the top vendors down there with like the guys that really know the game. So if you want to learn about tools or want to have a chance of winning a robot, come on down.
That's awesome. Okay. Thanks to Izzy for using his CNC machine to create my logo, and also to my wife who was nice enough to paint it for me. Let's move on to the interview, which of course starts by Izzy trying to create trouble.
And you used a bandsaw to split that?
No, of course not. I don't use any electrical power tools. Come on! No, I used a Japanese whaleback saw.
How many power tools did you use on this?
No electrical power tools, man. I do have electrical lighting and a camera, but no electrical power tools. So I carved it all by hand. So
That is intense.
the Dragon took about 100 hours of carving and the epoxy. It's my first time epoxying, and then the chair took another 140 hours, including all the carving. So
That is crazy.
there's a video. There's a couple of videos on this.
Yeah. But pictures and videos are never going to do that chair justice until they see it in person.
Yeah, it's a 3D effect. I mean, it's
Yeah, it is incredible.
it's a real deal.
Yeah. That's great.
Izzy, welcome.
Thank you, man. How you doing?
Great. Thanks for this next episode of Hot Air from the Dragon Chair. And what could be more hot air than Izzy Swan? All right. Well, I'm down here in Greenville, South Carolina. It's great to be here. We already did a shop tour, which I don't know if I'm going to show it first or last, but got the shop tour. So Izzy, I just want to start out with a couple standard questions, and we can get into some other conversations. So,
Right on.
So first of all, tell me a little bit about your background. Where are you from originally, and where you're at now?
Raised in, it's about as far north as you can go in Michigan, up in the UP, or Upper Peninsula, for those of you who don't know. Grew up there with as a kind of a hippie kid. My parents were off the gridders, so back in the 70s there was a movement called Back to the Earth, and it wasn't off the grid, it was called the Back to the Earth movement, where a lot of folks were doing what we're doing now, where you see them like living in trailers and tiny homes and moving off the grid. Same thing back in the 70s, my parents did that, and then I grew up that way. So
Did that cause you to be more creative and create things to make things?
I
'cause you
think
weren't on
so.
the grid, or?
I think so. I mean, I was from about the age of 3 to about 11. We lived in a literally a shack. We had a pump in the kitchen for water and a 5-gallon bucket in the back room for a toilet. I'm not kidding. An outhouse outside, and then our existence was in what was 2 rooms, which was kind of like a kitchen, living room, sitting area, and there's a bedroom that my folks had. It was like this little tiny lean-to above the kitchen area, lean-to, little tiny loft, and my brother, sister, and myself slept up there on sleeping bags for first what I guess I don't remember being 3, but I remember that place. As I hit my 4 or 5 years, I started remembering things, and that's where we started. So, yeah.
Wow. And then
Completely out the way.
where did you grow up from there then?
After that, my dad's an ex-Marine Corps, and mom's a hippie. She wanted to do the back to earth thing. My dad just went, okay, let's go. And then after living that way until early teens, late 11, 12, we moved to town,
Okay.
which was cool because then we had electricity, and lo and behold, Atari had just came out. So we had Atari, so
Wow.
it's pretty fancy stuff.
That's
Telling you
great.
what, yeah. So they went back to school. Mom for criminal justice and dad for engineering, and then we moved downstate to get jobs. Mom went to work for prison system, IMAX. She went to work for IMAX. He was an A-room. She oversaw 3 prison cells, maximum security prison, and then my dad went to some factory as a millwright supervisor.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then tell us about your early maker life.
Well, I literally grew up around woodworking and making, and like my grandfather was a maker, my uncle was a maker, woodworker, dad was definitely. That off the grid living, that life, everything we did was making. From our house to the furniture we used to pens for horses and pens for animals and furniture. Literally everything. We built that, or we built it all. So that was my whole existence.
I see you post a lot of pictures of the early furniture you used to make. So were you an early furniture maker? Is that how you first broke into kind of from the business side?
No, I was trying to get out. Just like anybody that grows up around family business or a business like that, woodworking, it's not all that glamorous when you're a child, so getting away from it was my thing. I went to school after messing around for a year or 2 for construction management, and I never finished, and I got a job as a supervisor, job site foreman for Pinnacle Construction Group out of Rockford. And it sucked. It was a giant babysitting job, and I wanted to build things. So I went back to building log homes for a guy I worked for in high school, and I saw rustic furniture, which back then was largely just, big cedar logs,
Yeah.
railing. And there was a few guys out in northern New York that were doing some really cool things with like twig mosaic and birch bark on, overlays. And I saw the largest part of the furniture was pretty boring, rustic wise. So my brain kept thinking, if I combined the two of these things, it'd be really cool. And that's eventually what I did. Log furniture building log homes was taking us everywhere. I was starting a young family at the time, and when you're traveling all over the place, pretty hard on a young family.
Yeah.
So I quit that and I started making furniture, and we starved for about 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yep. And then it just took off.
And how did you get into the YouTube and social media aspect?
Well, I did furniture from then on, and owned a fairly successful small manufacturing company. We had just built the twig mosaic, high-end rustic. And I say high-end in the production world, rustic furniture. And 08 hit, and everybody, including me, was having issues. So I hung on until August of 09 before we finally had to shut it down. Took a bad order. We took an order, did an order, went to deliver, and didn't get paid.
Okay.
So bad order. And I couldn't keep going, so I let the guys go and kind of just shut it down. And then went through a divorce about a year before that. And my ex moved down here with younger kids, so I moved down after. To just be down here in the Charleston area.
When did the modern Izzy Swan that we all know of, the mad scientist, machine maker thing, when did that take off?
Well, that was the YouTube thing. Like, sorry I didn't get to your question. So I didn't have it. I got lucky. I made a lot of good relationships in the business, and I kind of sold my designs on a royalty thing, and sold part of my business, and I didn't have to do anything. So I pretty much went fishing for basically 2 years straight.
Okay.
You can get tired of fishing. Just telling you, it's possible. So I was looking.
You really were fishing?
Yeah, every day for 2 years.
Largemouth?
No, brackish waters, mostly trout, flounder.
Okay.
Whatever would bite.
Okay.
Whatever would bite a shrimp and a pop bobber. So I started looking on YouTube. A friend of mine kind of pointed me that direction. Now I had been on YouTube. I don't know what it was, 2008 or something, and I made those, just took a bunch of pictures and hammered them together into a short video, and I was sending that off to clients. So I had a YouTube channel already.
Okay.
And I was just sending pictures to clients of my furniture. And so a friend of mine reminded me about YouTube, and I went back and looked at it, and I tell you, it had grown, like from 2008 to like 2000, I guess it was 2013, 14 at the time. And it was like, whoa, this is a lot going on here. So I found Steve Ramsey, and I found the Wood Whisperer and Laney Shaughnessy, and I was like, geez, this is cool. I could do this. And I wasn't really interested in making a career of it. I wanted to meet other woodworkers in my area, people with my same kind of interests. And it just hit. I started making bowling balls on table saws and doing things that people never really seen before. Yeah. And people kept coming, and I'm a businessman, and I realized there was some potential there, and I was really enjoying that aspect of it. I think that's really what I found I really liked to teach. I really, really liked it. It was really cool. So I kept making videos and kept growing.
That's awesome.
And now we're here.
So tell us about where here is.
This is my shop in Greenville, South Carolina. This is the fourth one I've had since we started making YouTube videos. So this, we're going to settle down here, I hope. And so far, we're doing something a little different with my shop. I want it to be a content collaboration space, and I want a nice shop set up. Like if you've watched my videos, you know almost all the way through most of my content, I've had real basic tools. I mean, kept it really humble. I wanted to make it super accessible for people.
They are power tools, I'll say.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to keep it super simple, you can just do hand tools.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't want to go off the complete cliff of insanity, but borderline's cool.
Okay.
So just wanted to create a space that was safe and up to date and had some nice equipment in. not only for myself, but for content collaboration. So I have a really nice facility here that's kind of centrally located-ish in the States, and I wanted to kind of give creators an opportunity to have a space to come and help promote content. Like if I did a video with somebody, they come out, I'll help promote their social media platform. My goal really, and my desire, is to grow this community that we have seen just kind of blooming over the last 5-6 years. And help others who are interested in the teaching and entertainment side of it grow their standing in the community as well, because that'll attract more people, that'll grow the community. And basically all my effort in one way, shape, or form for the last few years has really been to that end, as to how do I establish a place to help do those things, and
what are some of the, like, as a space, because this is the start of it, but what would be key elements of that space for the collaborators? What would they have to work with? What are some things they do?
Well, they'd have the latest equipment, nice tools, safe tools, CNCs, 3D printers, just provide the things that maybe somebody starting out or even been in for a short while just doesn't have access to. And what you find a lot of times is creators' imaginations are beyond their means. Mm-hmm. So I want to kind of not only give them a place to come and do collaborations with other creators, not just myself. If somebody from Alabama and someone from New York wanted to meet in the middle and do a collaboration, they'd be welcome here to do it.
Okay.
But to give them access to things that they wouldn't otherwise have access to, welding, plasma cutters, CNCs, all of it. It'll all be here. Okay. So right now we got the woodworking just about sussed out. We've got the CNCs, planers. About the only thing I don't have in here right now is a jointer, and I'm debating on whether even getting one or not, because they're a slightly dangerous tool. And when you're inviting people into your space and you're not sure of their skill level, you got to be very careful about what they're using.
Right.
So Maker's Playground is what I'm calling it. So This is the brick and mortar side of what I'm referring to as Maker's Playground. Just a place to build cool stuff, let your imagination go wild, and just make good relationships.
And when do you think you'll have that fully in place?
We're going to launch the brick and mortar side of Maker's Playground very shortly, within a month or two.
And is there a social media or software side to that?
That's the second side, and that's a bit more complex than this. This is pretty simple. Hey guys, if you're a creator, you want to build a channel, come hang out, we're going to build some cool stuff. So for a long time, and you've experienced this, I think, you haven't been on YouTube in 6 months?
Yeah.
Months?
I've taken a very, very long sabbatical. It's not all for good reason. So I did a collaboration for Game of Thrones, which was terrific. I was so happy I was able to do it. It's quite an honor to be picked. They picked 18 artists from around the world to do different things for the final season. I carved a couple of the characters from the show, a dragon, a lion, and a wolf, into a carving, and that was terrific. In fact, the reason they reached out to me is because I made this dragon throne for fun, which I eventually want to auction off for charity. But I carved the dragon, so I felt it was very prestigious to be one of the 18 artists. I completed the project. It was very intense. I think I carved 140 hours over 18 days to get this carving done, and I was pretty worn out. And the exciting part was they were going to give each creator a day on their social media platform and tag them to share their project. And so
that would help with growth and do all kinds of things.
I was really excited. Really excited, and they did the first guy launched the first day. And people really liked what he did, but they were all complaining about they hadn't seen the initial trailer for the final season. Everyone's complaining about the trailer. They hadn't seen it yet. So they pulled the campaign, and they showed the trailer 2 weeks later, but then because they had all these other things set up, like a day for Oreo Cookie Game of Thrones, a day for Mountain Dew, they had no way to put it back in. And so basically 2 weeks before the final, they put all of them out on the same day, didn't tag anybody, and so no one had any idea who did what, and there's no way. So I'm not trying to get 1 million followers, but it would have been great if people could have known that I was the one that carved the carving. As long and also there's been no communication, nothing. So all the things the artist did are probably sitting in a basement somewhere. Mm-hmm. So I feel very good that I was able to do it, but it's also frustrating that it didn't go quite as planned.
Well, when you invest over 200 hours into a project with the anticipation of some thing being there, that could be, that's got to be a huge disappointment.
Yeah, and then it got worse. So what happened next is that YouTube did another scan of my channel, and they designated some of my most popular videos, the videos that drive about 90% of the trial on my channel, as inappropriate, like violent or something.
Why?
Well, I made how to make a bow, and I guess that's violent. How to make a crossbow. So I mean, there's nothing violent in it, but something in their algorithm. So I'm fighting that, but that brought a lot of traffic to my channel. So that's way down. And I don't do this just for the views, but it's frustrating that a video that's been out there for 5 years has like 1.5 million views all of a sudden is deemed as inappropriate for advertisers. And then some of my other videos, they said I used copyrighted music, which I didn't, because I check all these things out. So that's been frustrating. And we talked about before how the way Instagram, Facebook, YouTube works is you really don't have control. They have a lot of algorithms, blind algorithms in the background, and so that's frustrating. Then I had knee surgery, so I had a meniscus surgery, and it went fine, so I lost some time there. And so basically, I've done a hard reset. Like, I just started over. So what am I doing? I'm refinishing tools, and I'm enjoying that. I'm carving bowls.
Well, with some of the tools you get your hands on too, you get some off-the-chain stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, really cool stuff. I just refinished a spoke shave that was patented in 1866. It's a great big one.
Really?
So right after the Civil War is over, they started making these. So, and it's probably that old. So I got it all cleaned up. It works great. So I'm really just enjoying the basics. And so now I'm going to start doing more things. Like I've collected all this Osage orange, which is the best wood for making bows to make a really good bow, a really good crossbow. Hopefully YouTube won't block that too, but I'm just getting back to the basics, and I'm just going to rebuild. And also I went to the Birmingham, to the Maker Fair there, Maker Central, and I gave a talk there. It was terrific. Had a great time. I should have recorded the whole thing, but I didn't. I apologize for that. But just getting back with creators, seeing you, just getting back in the community, doing the fun stuff. So I'm just, like I said, at a hard reset. Now I'm kind of building back up.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome that you're getting back into it, though. I'm glad you are, because you're one of my favorite guys.
Well, thank you.
So
Thank you.
It's absolutely amazing to watch you use a whaleback, saw cutting logs in half, and I'm like, yeah, I'll never do that, but it's cool to watch.
It's a good straight cut. I mean, the Japanese whaleback saw works
yeah,
terrific.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll put a couple feeds into the video. So
I'd like to see that. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But so to your point, and to kind of what you just kind of touched on, is what Maker's Playground, the social side of it is. So I've created an app. It's a social media platform. It's a very familiar social media platform. It kind of operates like a mix between Facebook and Instagram, where you can friend people, you can follow people. There's notifications if somebody's posting projects that they want to see. But aside from that, because of the way YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, these powerhouses really are, they have all the control. So I don't like the way they're playing the game, so we're changing the game. That's what this is
Changing
about.
the game, man.
That's
Changing
right.
the game.
So we're creating a space for makers. It's maker-centric. If you're a leather worker, we don't care. A woodworker, we don't care. Metal worker, we don't care. Come on, everybody who's a maker is welcome. No, you'll never see advertisements in the feed. It's just a great place right now. I mean, we launched it a week and a half ago. We have almost 10,000 guys in there already, guys and gals, posting amazing projects. And you can already see that, that snowball effect of people are commenting and liking and sharing ideas and asking questions. And you've been in those Facebook groups where they do that, in the communities where you've seen that. And it's just an amazing thing to see. But now it's happening on a platform that makers made, that makers have control over. And we're never going to have to worry about building a channel up and then having Instagram gone. Well, we're going to show it to 1,000 people that you worked really hard at to get following you. But if you wanted to show it to the other 100,000 people that follow you, we're going to charge you $50 or $100 or $200, whatever it is. And that's never going to be there.
That's great.
So we're creating a social media platform for makers, and then right now it's just awesome. It's been exploding.
That's great. Well, let's take a look at that app real quick.
Creating a maker-centric social media platform. This is a social platform strictly for makers. And it works just like Instagram or Facebook, kind of a combination of the two. So we have people that have already jumped in, just thousands of people have already jumped on board. And they come in, they're sharing their projects. You can see all these different projects that people are sharing for metalworking,
Could
woodworking.
you move your fat fingers out?
Oh,
of the
yeah.
way? I'm joking. I'm joking.
They're always in the way. So metalworking, woodworking, cabinet makers, everything. Lathe guys, it's all there. Apparently grilling. Who likes to grill, right?
Okay.
So the nice thing about this though is it's not just a social media platform like you typically look at it. There's no ads in that feed. You'll never see ads in the feed. You'll just see maker projects. But we do have a place for ads that are for announcements. So if we have a new thing happening in the app, we can share it here. And we're also doing some promotion for Klingspor for the upcoming extravaganza. So you'll see that in announcements, but never in the feed. One of the nice things about this is we're creating Makers Connect, which is Makers Videos. We'll have a complete video platform for makers, and Makers Mall, which is where if you sell plans or product or physical goods, you can go to Makers Mall, set up a store, and sell your stuff there. And we generate crap loads of traffic to put it. That's just the way we do. Right now we have almost 10,000 members in already.
Wow, that's great.
That's within like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
That's fabulous.
So we're pushing lots and lots of traffic. So a lot of eyeballs would get on the stuff that you share there. We're also setting up a place where we can sell tools or barter back and forth. We're creating an app that is maker centric. It's stuff for makers. It's makers. It's made by makers. It's for makers. It is literally maker legit. So there's a chat section just like anything else. If you want to message people, you can. And just like Instagram or whatever else, if you see somebody that's doing some cool projects and you want to follow them, bell notification so you get notified when they post, and you can add them as a friend. So it's literally just like that, except for the difference is we don't have an algorithm that says you get to see this and somebody else gets to see that. That's not there. If you share your stuff, it's in front of everybody. They have an opportunity to see, everybody has a chance to see it. We're not hiding it from anybody. We're not, nothing. It's all there. So if you want to see projects that somebody's doing, because there's people posting all the time, just hit the bell notification. You'll get notified when they post a project. So, and there are some really seriously talented people in here so far. So we've been having a lot of fun.
Terrific.
Yeah, and it's been just an absolute.
And tell me again the name of the app.
Makers Playground. If you go to your iOS or Android store, it doesn't stay up for very long. That's what it looks like. Makers Playground. And it works around the world. Our vendors work around the world, and if you are overseas or across the pond, there's stuff there for you too. So
awesome.
Come check it out.
All right. Where do you see this going in the next 5 years?
My hope is that we can continue to grow Makers Playground to a point where it's valuable for content creators, so they can monetize there. We create the snowball effect of growing the maker community, and that's ultimately what it's been about for me, and will continue to be about for me. So my hope is just to get it to a place where it's sustainable, and that obviously things like that, like this, the app was not cheap. This whole thing was labor intensive,
right.
cost intensive, but it's worthy. And the nice thing about it is it's free to everybody who wants to just join in and just be part of the conversation. If you want to be a supporter, there's a way to do that. If you want to sell product there, you can do that. So it's about just creating this space for this amazing community and keep that growing. And hopefully, if it's a parachute as well, if things do collapse on the social media side, like we see some of that kind of happening from time to time. If they do collapse, we'll always have this.
Well, yeah, that's great.
So, yeah.
That's good. That's awesome.
So we're doing that, and then building cool stuff and working on projects, and I was trying to push the boundaries of what I can do with materials like wood, so stuff like that.
Now, so when we did the shop tour, you talked about the robot a little bit. Tell us more about that robot and when people can see that.
Okay. And I like to give credit where credit's due. Jamie Mantezel designed a 6-legged walking machine that he sold to Nerf years ago. Jamie's a great guy. He still posts videos on YouTube. He lives down by the equator now, and he does these crazy boat builds and stuff. He's a little eccentric, but eccentric.
Yeah.
So we did. I bought one. I took it apart, and it worked really well for what Jamie wanted it to do. But for this type of build, what I was thinking was a bit more complex. Now, the drive mechanism, how it actuates the walking part of the robot was pure genius. I mean, hats off, Jamie. That was incredible, buddy. So I modified the walking mechanism itself, like how the legs all articulate through the system to be more reasonable to build. So other people could also see how this works and build it. So I designed that system a little bit different, and we're just building it right now. We're going through that process of finishing this up, and I'll have the first one done after Chris gets back. My shop buddy, shop helper, friend, he's helping me with some of these larger projects. So since he gets back, we'll finish that up and test it, and then we're going to take it to the Extravaganza. For those of you who aren't familiar, it's a big woodworking show through Klingspor Woodworking Shop, and we're going to run it around there and give it away.
And when is that and where is that?
Last week in October, I believe it's 25th, 26th. Check the numbers, and you can see it at woodworkingshop.com, or just type in Klingspor Extravaganza and it'll pop up.
And is it in Greenville?
It's in Hickory. It's about 2 hours and 10 minutes, kind of northeast of here. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's terrific.
Yeah.
End of October, check it out.
Yeah, and we're going to give it away, so you have a chance to win if you're there.
All right, that's great.
Yeah. So we're also working on, right now I'm working on a hand crank printing press of sorts. It's a desktop version, so you just turn the handle, it self-loads, self-unloads. I've got a spider type mechanism I'm working on that's kind of a new style of walking component. It's a little bit tricky because it's non-linear. Non-linear just means the legs don't walk in a straight line. They kind of have a splaying motion to them. So it's playing with that. We're hoping to find enough sponsorships to build a Ferris wheel, like a 30 foot tall Ferris wheel.
Why?
Out of wood. Because we can, and it's fun.
Where would that be set up? Something like that?
Then put it out here, and then make it so you can take it down.
Were these all run with a power drill like everything?
Most likely. Yeah.
That's a big power drill.
No, 18 volt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gear reductions are amazing, man. So.
Yes, they are. Yes,
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah. So doing
Now,
that.
now you're always creating these things for fun, but do you get much application into the corporate world on some of your applications? Like
Oh,
you said
yeah.
that is there anything that you're allowed to talk about? You want, like, some of the things you've recently done or might be coming out?
I can't talk about that project, but
Okay.
yeah. No, I mean, that's kind of what I do now in the world is I do process and production consulting for manufacturers. So
Okay.
help them design and build proprietary equipment to accomplish a task that maybe there's not a piece of equipment out there that does that. So I do that. I also do process, which is, if you think about a production line, how it's set up, I just help them shave minutes and seconds off of that production time. So they save money that way, and that's kind of how my brain works. It's about the only thing it does right, but that's, it's, I can sell that for
Yeah.
So that's
Does
what
this all come like people see your mechanism and say, will you help me? Or do you have a whole other arm of Izzy Swan Industries that
there's a whole nother world that nobody sees. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that stemmed from the rustic furniture manufacturing back in the day.
Okay.
Rustic. And when you think about rustic furniture and you start thinking a little bit about what that really means, it's not square anymore. You come out of that realm. When you step out of that realm of nice and straight and nice and square, the manufacturing world gets a lot more complex.
Right.
So through that 15 years or so, I was building my business up. I had to design and build and create equipment and processes to deal with that and deal with it really quickly, because when you're manufacturing and you're selling your wholesale, the margins aren't as big as if you're a one-off guy. But it's a lot easier to get in the industry if you have a good product. I mean, it's easy to get into the industry if you have a good product.
Right.
But if you can't manufacture that product at a reasonable price, then there's no point. So that came down to the engineering side, and that's kind of where my skills or my natural ability, I guess. I've always had a mind for mechanical things. So that's kind of where I got my start. And then I've had other companies kind of see what I was doing, ask for help them throughout the years, and that kind of grew into helping process. I had a real great success with a company. They asked for some help on process, and I went and set them up and saved them about 28 to 30%
Wow.
on a line, which doesn't sound like much if you think about it in the whole scope. But when you're talking, at that point it was like a $6-8 million a year line. So 30% savings of that's pretty significant.
Yeah, exactly.
And then after that, it was just kind of word of mouth. You know, I had another company say, hey, can you help us out here? And then you help us out here. And that just kind of grew and stepped up. And I've just always been able to think a little bit outside of the box to accomplish things that these companies needed accomplished.
Wow,
So
that's great.
That's the not on YouTube world.
There's so much to you we don't know about Izzy, is there?
There's so many doors to look behind. Yeah.
Do we want to? Are we sure we want to open all those doors?
I'm actually really boring, so there's nothing too exciting about me. So
Well, when you're not in the shop, what are you spending your time on?
sleeping mostly.
Sleeping.
Or trying to sleep. That and kids. You know, play with the kids quite a bit. So yeah.
Are your kids taking an interest in some of this stuff, or? How?
They're taking an interest in some of my other interests, like botany and raising animals. And
Can people hear the ducks? I don't know if people can hear the ducks and the chickens, but they're
yeah,
just keep on going. So.
we didn't let them out today because the family's away, and their kids are always the ones that have to round them up at the end of the day. Unfortunately, the chickens can outrun me these days. So
Yeah.
So they're all cooped up. Sorry for the chicken noise, but
No, it's
yeah.
okay. It's okay.
But yeah, no, my daughter, my little 5-year-old girl, Lulu. We call her name's Lucy. We call her Lulu. She is absolutely phenomenal with animals. It's just one of those people that has a touch with animals. You see that kind of developing in her. Like, she can put a chicken to sleep in like under a minute.
She's a chicken whisperer.
She's any dog, chicken, whatever. They just respond to her well, and she does real well with them. And it was kind of fun just seeing her handle them. You know, she's careful. She knows how to handle them, and they're all good. So.
You covered it. There you go.
I guess the question I have is, because what is the background with that helmet hat? What's the background?
So I guess it's been 4 years ago now. A lot of creators back then, you know, were kind of talking behind the scenes on Google Hangouts. And one evening, I was on a Google Hangout with Nick Ferry and a few others, and we were just talking, you know. And I had some angel hair LED lights at the time. I think they'd just come out, or recently they'd come out. And I was goofing around. I was like, I think we were talking about the old Hellboy movie.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
at the end, his
Okay.
horns come out and there's fire.
Yeah.
So I grabbed this. I have horns left over from a furniture project, and screwed them onto the helmet. And then I wrapped the angel hair LED lights around it, so you could light it up, and it was like glowing.
Okay. Were they red? Were they red?
It was actually white and green.
Okay.
It wasn't real.
Okay.
It wasn't real.
Not
Boom,
real.
boom, boom. You know, it was kind of like eh. But anyway, it was goofing off. So anyway, I was like, for some reason, it just occurred to me that stickers, Jay Bates. You know who started the sticker thing? It was Jay Bates.
Isn't it crazy how one person can start
5
an
years
entire
ago,
movement?
Jay Bates put a sticker on his sticker cabinet, and that's how stickers got started in the maker community. Thanks, Jay. So,
Yeah.
It occurred to me, that was just before what we called Video Creators Meetup at a woodworking show 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And it occurred to me that I needed a place to put stickers, and what better, just bring this with me instead of getting stickers and having to put them on something. And literally the first show, this thing was entirely covered. I'm pretty sure most of it's like that thick
Yeah,
now with
exactly.
stickers.
That's great.
So it just became a sticker thing, and I actually auctioned this off a while back, and then the person who auctioned it declined to give me their address to mail them to, so I still have it.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah, I'm like, all right.
whoever it was, well, they're lost, right?
Well, it was Mark Saunders. I know who it was. Mark, I still have your hat, dude. So I don't know whether he was just being generous and kind or what he was doing, but it was very generous of him. And it's
He
still
gave
here.
you the money.
Yeah, he paid. Yeah,
Okay.
he paid for it. But it belongs to Mark Saunders now,
Okay.
so it's not my hat anymore. But I'm going to keep using it and putting stickers on it until Mark claims it. So
It's appropriate in front of the dragon on the throne.
I know. It's like I shaved this morning. I should have left the beard, and maybe I should have got the axe and rested it on my shoulder or something.
That's okay.
Should
That's
have,
okay.
but what we're doing is good. So I'm glad to hear you're back in the game. I've missed you.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm getting back into it, so I'm working on a few projects now. It's just been a slow road, but
And you also have a full-time job.
yeah. So I'm a full-time project manager. I don't travel as much as I used to. I travel extensively in Europe and Asia as part of my job. My two daughters, one is out of school, a mechanical engineer for Ford, and then my second is a junior in college studying speech pathology. So they're busy. We are kind of empty nesters right now, which is great. So my wife and I, hi Mary.
That's why we're doing the traveling?
Yeah, we had a great time in Asheville, and we went to the Biltmore, which was crazy amazing. I mean, not only the building and everything inside, but also the grounds and how they laid it out. You know, I think the guy who...
The next time you guys you can come down and I'll give you the back alley tour of Asheville and blow your minds again.
How do you know Asheville?
Oh, I've been around.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, it looks like it's really developing, especially along the river and everything. We stayed at Airbnb right down from is it New Belgium Brewing Company?
Yes.
New Belgium? Yeah, so we had a great time there. We spent a couple days there and a full day at the Biltmore. We didn't see the falconry, which we may come back and see that at some point. But so life is good for us. So I have been busy. Life is busy for me. I really just do this for the love of it. And like I said, I lost some of the love for a while, but I'm back. So, and it's good to be back, everybody.
Awesome.
So
need to get you into Maker's Playground. Check it out.
Yeah, I will.
Okay. Cool.
Well, listen, Izzy, anything else? Any final words from Hot Air from the Dragon Chair?
Oh, no, I guess, just keep making, keep doing what you guys do. We love you. Keep making this community great.
All right.
This is a great place, and it's a great place to be, and it's got really great cats in it. So
Awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Thanks, everybody, and check out Izzy Swan. Give them all your details here. I'll put them all in the description
Go to
section
YouTube,
as well.
type in Izzy Swan, or go to Google and type in Izzy Swan. It all pops up.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Bye, guys.
All right. Thanks, Mary.
Thanks, Mary.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
That was almost painless.
Yeah, of course.